Hey guys, so I've already done my brows off camera, so now that I've finished that, I'm just going to go straight into the eyes. I'm using the Huda Beauty Worms Obsession palette and using the cream shade just to set the eyeshadow primer in place. Then with a Sephora Collection number 27 brush, I'm using this like pumpkin brown shade in my crease just to use it as a transition shade. And I'm blending it all the way in. Once I have that color, I use this like salmony orange shade, and I'm placing it like right below that pumpkiny orange shade that I used before. You don't have to worry about this being super clean because the messy look actually works out even better for this. And I'm just blending it out until I get the desired intensity that I'm looking for. And I completely forgot to show this color, but it's like a rusty reddish orange, and I'm just placing that all over until I get the like super flaming hot look. I know, when I was doing this look, it totally made me crave flaming hot Cheetos or like Takis. I love those. So I guess I'll just have to crave them a little bit more. Now for this part, I was doing a cut crease that was inspired by Josie Reyes. Also, I Love Sarai. She did a look very similar to this. So I combined the two. And I used the Dose of Colors concealer brush with the MAC Lay and Low paint pot. And I decided to slow it down a little bit more so you guys can see the technique. I'm pretty much carving out the lid space but taking my time, and I'm pulling outward so that way I don't create any harsh edges. Now this is probably like the second time that I tried this technique and I was really happy with it. Be careful with how much product you use. The thinner the better, because then you don't have to worry about too much product or like creasing lids, because we don't want that. But that's pretty much what it comes out looking like. And then with the cream shadow from the palette, I'm just using it to set it all over. You could totally leave the look as is, but I'm gonna add glitter myself. And I'm blending out all those harsh edges because I only wanted it to be like a half cut crease. I didn't want it to be all the way. Now using another clean Dose of Colors concealer brush, I'm applying a thin layer of NYX glitter glue, and I'm patting that onto the lid in all the areas that I'm going to be applying the glitter. For the first glitter, I'm using Reigning Riches by MAC, and this was such a beautiful chunky copperish glitter. I don't know how else to explain it, but it was just beautiful, and I got this from a holiday kit a couple years ago. Then right next to it, I'm applying Glitter Reflex Rust, also from MAC. Now this one's a little bit more on the finer side. It's not as chunky, which I thought added a great dimension to the lid, and to the look overall. And now I'm just blending out any harsh edges. Again, using my trusty old 27 blending brush. As for liner, I'm using the NYX matte liquid lipstick because I find that it works best when you're using any kind of glitter. So I'm just applying a thin layer or a thin line. And then I'm going in with the Sephora Collection Color Wink felt tip eyeliner. This allows me to create a super precise wing, and it makes it look a little bit more even, so I'm all about that. If you guys want me to film a full tutorial on my winged eyeliner, just let me know in the comment section below. I'd be more than happy to film that for you guys. Now using that rusty red and deep brown, I'm placing that in the crease a little bit more defined with a Sigma brush. I don't know the number on it, but I think it's a 25 brush. And now I'm just adding a little bit more glitter to the lid because I felt like it kind of got lost once I added those colors. For foundation, I'm using the Fenty Beauty foundation in the shade 310, which turned out to be a lot better than the one that I had reviewed. I don't know what I was thinking. It made me look like an Oompa Loompa before, but I think I finally got it to work. As for concealer, I'm using my current fave, which is the one from Bare Minerals. It's the Bare Skin Serum Concealer in the shade Golden Medium. And oh my goodness, I love it so much because it has a nice luminosity, which really goes well with the foundation since it's more on the matte side. And I don't know, I've been loving it. To blend it out, I'm using this brush from Real Techniques, and I'm using more of like stippling motions under the eyes, and then I'm just blending it out in a pretty normal way on the rest of the areas of this face. Then I'm using the Peach Perfect powder just to set everything in place. It smells so good, but it doesn't compromise the luminosity of the concealer, as you can see, and it makes it last just a little bit longer, which I love. Then using the Better Skin powder from Maybelline, I'm using that to set the rest of my face because I do get oily even with matte foundations, and I wanted just a little bit more full coverage. As for bronzer, I'm using an old favorite. It's the Hourglass Ambient Bronzer. I forget the name of it, but I'll probably list it in the description box below. And I'm just using this to warm up my skin a little bit more. Then using the Sephora Collection Micro Smooth Powder in Ebony, I'm using that to give myself a little bit more of a natural contour. It's not super matte and it's not like ashy, which I felt like worked really well. As for lashes, I'm using these from Ardell, and it's the Studio Effects Demi Wispies. These were so nice. Now, I actually forgot to mention this, but I did put the glue on before I put my foundation, so this made applying the lashes super easy, and that's why, like, I feel like it took no time at all. For blush, I'm using this one from Wet n Wild in the shade Mellow Wine, and as you can see, it's super pigmented. A little goes a long way, so just be careful how much you put on your cheeks because it can be a lot. Second time around, I learned my lesson and I just went very, very light-handed. So apply that as you wish. And then for highlight, I wanted to add just a subtle glow that wasn't like too cold, and the Champagne Pop from Becca was the perfect choice. So I'm just applying that to the highest points of my cheekbones and also on the bridge of my nose, as well as the Cupid's bow. Then to finish off the eyes, I'm applying a little bit more of those colors that I used earlier, starting off with the salmon color in the crease, just to add more drama, because you know I like it to be nice and dramatic. And I'm also applying that rusty red. So blend it out. I think I'm using more of like the featherweight brush or the Morphe brush. I forget which brush I was using, but it's nice and pointed, so I got more precision. Now using those two shades that I mentioned before, I'm applying that to the lower lash line, just so that it creates more of a balance on the look. And I also use this one from the Yes Please ColourPop palette. There's a lot of P's in there. It's more of like a red tone shade, and I feel like it just added more oomph to the look. And again, I'm going back in with the glitter just to intensify it a little bit more. So pretty. Now this step is completely optional, but I wanted to try something different. So I'm using the liquid eyeliner in white from NYX just to create more of like that cut crease effect. I don't know how to describe this actually, but I just thought it came out really cool. As for lips, I'm using the Pumpkin lip kit from Kylie Cosmetics. I'm using both the lip liner to fill in my lips. And really be careful with this part too, you want it to be nice and neat. And then to fill everything in, I'm using the liquid lipstick, also in Pumpkin. This has been such a beautiful shade for me, and I've been using it a lot lately. Then I'm also adding a little bit of Champagne Pop in the inner corner just to brighten things up a little bit more. Then finishing it off with Mr. Bing in the waterline. This one's from ColourPop. And setting everything in place with my favorite Peach Blur powder from Too Faced. And there you go, that is the final look. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I had so much fun creating it for you guys. I'll see you in the next video. Bye!